Hello, 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 hello. This is episode number 72 with Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Britt, and today we have a good one, y'all. I have my POTR sister in the building today, Miss Tarrhea. How you doing, boo-boo?
Hi, everybody. Hey, Brittany.
I am so excited to talk to you tonight. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me. I know where you're at. It's 8 p.m.
Yes.
Um,
I was sitting in the car.
well, I appreciate you just giving me a little bit of your time. Today, I thought this topic would be awesome just because, we're in the fourth quarter. I'm always talking about the fourth quarter, because
Mm-hmm.
this is not, we're going into a new year. And so I'm so excited. But this episode today is called episode number 72, Claiming Your Anger. And what made me think about this is I'm reading this book, Tarrhea. It is called The Garden Within by Dr. Anita Phelps. You have got to try. Like when you have time, I don't know if you read or you do Audible, but it's
I
on
do.
both.
I do
And
both.
you do both. Okay. When you
Mhm.
have time, definitely go check it out because it makes you bring like biblical terms and biblical
Mhm.
life together
Mhm.
with science. We're always trying to separate, I believe, science and what God says. And I do believe that it's all intertwined.
It
Whether
is.
we
It's all
want to
connected.
right. Whether we want to believe it or not. And the more that I'm on this self development journey, I'm just so
Mhm.
intrigued to know more about the word through
Mhm.
my own experiences, but also reading and meditating and learning and listening to God. So I just had to
Right.
bring this book. Yeah, I had to bring this
Mhm.
book to the forefront. Now, before we get into the book, I want to talk
Mhm.
about you a little bit, boo boo. Y'all, Tarrhea is everything. She is a child of God. She is an entrepreneur. She has her master, so she ain't dumb. Like, I don't mean to say it like that, y'all. She's an educated Black woman.
Yes,
So
okay.
definitely tell us a little bit more about what you got going on and, what life's doing for you right now.
Well, right now, life is good. I cannot complain about anything. I am definitely stepping into my purpose. Like you said, made a huge accomplishment this year when I got my master's degree. If you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would have ever been in this position, I probably would have told you no. But my motto is write all of your plans down with pencil and baby, give God the eraser because life never goes as planned. It never goes as planned, but I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. And I said every morning on my affirmation, I am grateful for this season that God has me in, and I'm just enjoying all of the blessings. I'm a loving mother. I have my own business. I work at the doctor's office doing my thing. So God has been so good. He really has.
Yes, God is so good. I just wanted to let you know I'm proud of you. I know I
Thank
haven't known you
you.
a long time, but I have seen the growth with just in 2 years. And I was saying to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't been around y'all long, but when I seen y'all at the Christmas party, I
Mhm.
pointed every one of y'all out. I was like, this is Tarrhea, this is Miss Fan. Like I'll never see Miss Fan a lot. But when y'all had her in the
Yeah.
Christmas picture, I said, "Oh yeah, that's Miss Saying." I can definitely tell that's her.
Uh-huh.
But y'all look
It's crazy that
amazing.
we've only known each other what a little over 2 years, but it seems like we've known each other forever. It really do, like the way that we connected when you first got on the call. And I remember when I even started getting on the call, I would always tell Cynthia, "Oh, I'm embarrassed because you've invited me years ago, and I pop up, then I drop out." And she was like, "Girl, if you don't get your behind on this call."
It's nothing. Don't ever be embarrassed because like you
Right,
said, we in different seasons, and
right.
life be life, and
It
so
do all the time. It don't stop. It does
yeah, it
not
don't
stop.
stop. And people don't realize that sometimes. So it's, even when I'm not on a call with you guys, I still say my
Mhm.
affirmation in the morning. Like if I
Mhm.
don't get up because Taria, my schedule is all over the place. So now I work third shift.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, I work third shift now. And even though
Got
it's
it.
I'm in the supervisor role, I know I'm not gonna be in it long, but I am grateful. I am grateful
Don't say that.
because
You never know what opportunities that might bring you. God put you there for a reason. He put you there
right.
for a reason.
You're right. You're right. And that's how I'm looking at it because I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I'm not in the office. I don't have to go in the
Mm-hmm.
office. I'm permanently remote. And my
Mm-hmm.
needs are met. I'm just excited about what he's doing in my life. So I'm just excited about all of that. But the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I brought this topic to the forefront because I'm dealing with it a lot. So I was like, if I'm dealing with it, it might be somebody else that could be dealing with it too. So I was actually reading this book, but then I was also reading like the Bible devotion like every morning when we do our affirmations. I'll read what
Mm-hmm.
Miss Cynthia has for our daily bread scripture, but then I also go on the app. And so it was crazy because I'm like, oh my gosh, sometimes Miss Cynthia be like, ain't no sometimes, all the time. She always hit it right on the nail. She always hits it right on the
Mm-hmm.
nail. So I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for you guys, and I just want to just keep saying that. So thank you, Tarrhea.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, but we're gonna dive into this topic. I'm not gonna take up much of your time. I know your babies. Well, I know they ain't babies, but you still gotta get yourself together too, and close. Get the house down. But when you talk about claiming your anger, what does that mean to you?
I'm in my opinion, I think claiming your anger is embracing it. No matter no matter what it is, like what I guess what triggered you to become angry, embrace it
Yes.
and learn from that anger in a sense. Like it could be something as simple as someone delivering a message to you, making you angry, or we say it all the time about having road rage down here in South Florida. I know you're going to experience it when you do come down here to see your brother, but when you really sit and think about it, you get so angry and worked up over something that in 5 minutes from now you're gonna be like, well, why was I that mad? Like, is that really important? But you're just acting off that emotion in that moment,
Hmm.
when in
Hmm.
reality it's not that serious. It's not that
Yes. I know, like right now, Taria, the reason why I brought this, like I said, to the forefront, because I had an episode a couple of months ago about trauma and triggers. And
Mhm,
in that episode, I was talking about what is a trigger and pretty much how trauma brings out those triggers. So in
mhm,
this episode, I feel like it's pretty much a follow up from that
uh-huh,
because you when you say what is a trigger, and I'm going to ask you that and what that
mhm,
is to you, I want us to get past the trauma and trigger. Like I'm really trying to get to triumph, like us actually getting to the other side, us
right,
understanding why those emotions come up, like you said, and then
mhm.
5 minutes later you mad, like or you not mad anymore. You like, well, dang, I was mad for no reason, or you know what I'm
And
saying?
you
So
wasted so much energy on something is irrelevant. Like
yes.
somebody cutting you off. Like they going on about they day, could care less about cutting you off. Then you blowing the horn, yelling, screaming, calling them everything but a child of God, and that person on through the next light. You still upset.
Girl, and we do be like that. It's like, and then it reminds me of like a beach ball. Like you in the water with a beach ball, and then all of a sudden it explode, or
Mhm.
like somebody talking, and then they go left, and you be like, why she just go left? Like you don't understand where it came from. Like everybody's having a civil conversation, and then all of a sudden the conversation get kind of awkward, and we trying to figure out, okay, really, really, what really going on? When I ask you what is a trigger to you or something that you've experienced, can you share that with us, the audience
Yeah,
today?
I can. And I used to have a lot of triggers, but and I said a lot, God is still working on me because I used to
Yes.
have any little thing. It's funny because my kids would say, "Mommy, you act like an angry bird," because it would like just set me off, and it could be something. I'm not even gonna use my road rage as an example because that was really bad at one point, especially in my early 20s. I had road rage really bad, but I've definitely grown from that. But something that triggers me is it's not so much of what someone say, it's how they say it and how that message gets delivered to me, and
Right.
adults not being held accountable. That
Yes.
definitely that
Oh my
triggers
God.
me. It disturbs me a lot, and I have to tell myself time after time, people are who they are and not who I expect them to be. But
Mhm.
that definitely still triggers my anger. Someone not being held accountable and the way another adult delivers a message to me. Because it's not all about what you say, it's how you say it to people.
How you say it. Oh my gosh, girl, you are giving me butterflies because that is like I'm really about to tell you a little bit of my business. Like I'm going through that right now, and like you
Mhm.
said, in your 20s, you had road rage. I had a lot of triggers too, and now I'm starting to like be like, oh my gosh, I'm excited because stuff doesn't trigger me as much. But God's still
Mhm.
working on me. Like I'm always like I'm in transition. Like I'm never one of those people that's gonna get on here. I want to be able to bring all of me out, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to do that because especially if you don't feel like you're in a safe space to do that, you don't want
Mhm.
nobody to judge you or feel like you're being disrespectful in a way when you're really
Right.
not trying to be disrespectful. You're just getting comfortable in that safe space. And so
Right.
sometimes, like I'm gonna tell you what I'm going through, and then I'm gonna give it back to you. So I'm married, and my husband, when you're dealing with a blended family, regardless if you're married or not, it's a lot.
Uh-huh. It
It's a
is.
lot. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
lot. And so I've been triggered a lot by his daughter stays with her grandmother. And I've been triggered a lot by the grandmother not holding herself accountable for how she approaches my husband or how she approaches the family in as far as being respectful
Right.
of him being married or being respectful of him having a family too and not
Mhm.
disregarding that.
Right.
So every time she comes around, I'm always like this. I already know I'm gonna be triggered by her. Like I don't
Yeah.
like her. Like I don't like her. Like I'm just being real. I do not like her, and I have been praying on that for a long time because I'm like, God, I gotta deal with her. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't never want to be no reason for my husband not to be able to parent his daughter.
Right.
And so that's the grown up in me. The old me is like, girl, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But so I started like really challenging that, and I'm not gonna go
Mhm.
all into it, but I started challenge. That's why I wanted to do this episode, Nate, because I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to figure out why I'm getting so
Mhm.
angry, why I'm getting so frustrated. Like it's bigger than her. It's really not her. It's
Mhm.
something within me that's
Mhm.
bothering me, that's taking me back to that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
It's
So when
some
you go,
it's something that's triggering you about her, and that could be stem from your childhood or something of that nature.
it is. It is. And I know that's what it is. And that's what I tell my husband. I always tell him that. I was like, because my mom and dad, they separated at a young age. They got divorced at a young age.
Mhm.
And we went through a lot of different,
Mhm.
traumatic events. And so a lot of things that my father didn't put up with, I'm big on respect, Nate. I'm big on accountability, like you said earlier.
Mhm.
Like, even for adults that are older, you need to learn how to hold yourself accountable too. Like I'm big on respect now. If
Mhm.
you like older, like my mama, 50 plus, 40 plus, I feel like everybody deserves to be respected. You
Right.
know, and I do feel like that. I do feel like sometimes. older generations, and me and my sister talk about it a lot. Sometimes I feel like, and I could be wrong, that they feel like, well, we've lived long enough, so you need to give me that respect anyway. And for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to disrespect you because that's not what I come from.
Right.
But I'm not gonna let you disrespect me either. So for me to be respectful, let me just come on and back it up. Let me get off the line, or don't let me say nothing to you because that's my way of being respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was just like, okay, let me dive into this a little more. So I was thinking about, like as kids, like we were saying, sometimes with our spouses or our coworkers, like we wonder why we get so angry, and like you said, something is lurking inside of us. So when you say holding adults accountable, for you, that's still a trigger. How are you working through that trigger?
I just have to keep telling myself that they are who they are and not who I perceive them to be. And I also have to tell myself as well, I keep asking God to put me in this leadership role, and He's showing me different types of people that I'm coming across every single day that I'm going to have to deal with. And I have to understand that as a leader, I can't get triggered and fly off the handle because a person is an adult is just being an adult and not wanting to be accountable for their own actions. Like he's showing me that, Nay, you gotta deal with different personalities each and every day. If you want to be that leader and you want me to put you into that leadership role, you got to learn how to deal with people that got anger issues, people that that's lazy, people that
Yes.
just different types of personalities from all walks of life. He's showing me that now. He's like, you got to be patient. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I think to get triggered and get upset, I take a few minutes and I said, Nay, this is God showing you He's going to give you what you ask for, but are you ready for it? This is why you
Right.
still. He got you still in this moment because he know as much as you want to be in that leadership role, you ain't ready for it. Because the
Right.
minute somebody don't hold themselves accountable, you're ready to pop off on them. And that's not what a leader does, because a leader, and my brother tells me stuff like this time after time. Cynthia tells me stuff like this time after time. Like, a leader has to be able to deal with multiple personalities day in
Right.
and day out and people problems. So I have to know I'm ready for that task.
Mhm.
And when somebody is not being held accountable and it triggers me, I say to myself, you ain't ready, girl. You still got work. You have
Yeah.
work to do.
Yeah. I love how you are, at least you are aware. A lot of people are not aware of what triggers them, what it stems from, how to
Mhm.
manage that. It's not
Yes.
necessarily trying to put your emotions over here and then put yourself over here. That's not what we're trying to do. It's just
Right.
understanding those emotions. Like,
Right.
because anger is an emotion that you're going to have. You're going to have conflict. You're going to
Mhm.
have all types of. Who wants to be joyous all the time? Like, okay, I don't mean it like that, but if you need
I
to
get what
tell
you mean.
somebody, yeah, be straight with me.
Yeah,
Don't, oh yeah, it's okay.
I
Life's
get it.
okay. And see, at work, I might be perceived to be that way. I'm really not that way though. Like, and it's funny because one of my friends that I've gotten close to at work, she laughs because she's always like, y'all always think that I'm the mean breed, but it's really her. Like, and I get to laughing there because I'll be like, yeah, like that's why I be quiet a lot because I have to learn that everything doesn't deserve a reaction. And
It does
so
not. It
for me
doesn't.
not to give you that reaction because I know me, I just need to be quiet.
Yeah.
Because if I don't be quiet, I'm gonna give you that reaction. That's just me and what I come from and being outspoken. You
Mhm.
know? And so I dig even deeper with this when I was talking about, okay, calming your anger. You know about trauma and triggers. You know what a
Mhm.
trigger is. We both know what that is. But then I digged a little deeper, Nate, and I was like, okay, it's got to stem from something else too. When that trigger arrives, because sometimes you can't avoid the triggers.
Right. You can't.
So
Mhm.
when you can't, and I'm going to ask you this: when you can't avoid the triggers, like for example, when you're at work or somewhere else, what do you do?
In all honesty, especially when I'm at work, I just walk outside.
Yeah.
I walk outside and I start praying because I'm a firm believer in I don't ever want anybody, any human being to have that much power over me that I lose control and I step out of my character. I don't ever want
Mm-hmm.
any person to have that much control over me. So I step
Mm-hmm.
outside and I say my little prayer and I pull myself back together.
And that's right. And
You
I
have
think
to.
that mechanism that you have of being able to step outside, girl, that's why I said when we did this, I was like, girl, you have no reason to be nervous. Like, I know how you talk. Like, I listen to you every morning. Like, I even listen to your affirmation when you're always saying being still. Always being still in the midst
Mhm.
of the storm.
Yep.
I listen to that because sometimes I don't know how to be still. Ain't no sometimes. I think it's all the time. My brothers and sisters is always like, Brittany, sit down, sit down, sit
Mhm.
down. Because I'm always like, I don't hear God, or I don't think I'm hearing enough of Him, or is that me hearing me, or me wanting to hear what I want to hear?
And
And
sometimes you
so,
don't need to hear him. You just know like when to be still, when to just sit there and be still until he tell you. I'm telling you, when I say I'm being still until God tell me it's time to move, I mean that. Like the
yeah.
raging storm around me, when I say I'm grateful for it, I'm grateful for it all. I really
Mm-hmm.
am.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I
sometimes
think that,
being still
go
is
ahead.
nothing wrong with just sitting there being still. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I say all the time, I have to quiet my brain. I have to calm
Mm-hmm.
down and relax. I don't have to do something all the time. And
Right.
trust me, you don't
Because,
know
like you said
God
earlier,
wants you to sit still. He gonna knock you down so you can sit still.
he definitely gonna do that. He gonna put something in your way, and you gonna be like, okay, I ain't got no way, I ain't got no choice
Mhm.
but to be still now.
Yeah.
And he sometimes he makes us get in those predicaments so that you can hear him, so that you can, like you said, quiet your mind. And that's why I think it's so important that you give that time to God or that higher being, that spiritual
Right.
person that you connect with each and every day, because this is
Mhm.
something, it's a lifestyle. It's not something that you can just pick up 1 month and then try to go back and do it again, because
Right.
I'm forever always working on me. And I
Mhm.
started looking at these three things. It was three things that I looked at, Nay, when I was looking at calming your anger. And I realized that these three things play a part when you need to calm your anger. And the reason why we get we get aroused when we are around a trigger or trauma is because either our security, our connection, or our control is not being valued, or something is being demonstrated to the point to where we can't control that. When I talk about security, connection, and control, what does those three things bring about to you when it comes to calming your anger?
Well, when it comes to control, like I said, I to me the worst feeling is knowing that I've allowed a person or a certain situation to have control over me. And
Mm-hmm.
that really bothers me because in a way I'm like, how could you let that get the best of you? Like why would you let that person or that thing get the best of you or just take you out of your complete element and your take you out of your character? And it's like my sense of security and where I feel like I'm stable, I've lost complete control because I've allowed this person or this thing to get the best of me. And sometimes people know your triggers. Your
Yes.
husband, your stepdaughter, her grandma might know she's a trigger for you, and she might
Mhm.
purposely, the devil uses people all the time. She might purposely do something just to get a reaction out of you because she can.
Girl, you sound like my mama.
She knows she can. So
Mm,
she may do that. You know, the devil always using people, using
mhm,
children. So she
mhm.
probably know, well, when Brittany come around, let me tell my granddaughter this or let me do this because I know it's gonna set her off. And now she disturbing your household. That ain't nothing but the
Mhm.
devil. Being busy, being the devil. That's all that is.
You're right. You're
We
right.
just gotta
And
keep praying in that situation.
and you know what? When you was talking about those three, that's the biggest thing for me too, is control.
Mhm.
Just just being able to control myself because I have acted a fool. Tarrhea, I done been. That's why I stopped drinking. Like because I have put myself in certain situations where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to transition. And when I say I'm trying to transition, I'm really trying to give it all to God. I got baptized again a couple
That's
of months
good.
ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And I really took it to heart. It wasn't like I wasn't doing it to, just for likes or I really was just, I'm really just in this different space where I don't need everybody knowing what I'm doing. I'm really doing this for me. And I really want to give it all to God. But I knew that day everything wasn't going to go to God. I just know that it's going there. Like I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I'm getting
everybody,
to
he
the other
working on
side.
you. He working on you. Your story and your testimony is gonna help somebody else. Cause ain't nobody in this world perfect. Is no
Right.
relationship perfect, no human being perfect. We live in an imperfect world. So you gonna constantly make mistakes. You gonna learn from them. You gonna learn from somebody else's mistakes. It's all a learning game. You like recreating yourself. So don't feel bad and don't beat yourself up over you saying, well, I used to be a mess. I done acted a fool several times and I ain't had nothing to drink and I done acted a fool. So don't feel bad. Anybody that knows Nay knows I have turned up several times
Oh wow.
unnecessarily. So do not feel bad about anything you have done because there's a blessing in every lesson and everything that we go through in life. It really is.
Thank you for
It really
saying that.
is.
I really needed to hear that tonight because I've been beating myself up. Like if I say something or if I do something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't supposed to say that or I wasn't supposed to do that. And like, I'll take it to heart because, like I said, I'm trying to get to that place. But like you said, nobody on this earth is perfect. And
Mhm.
so I'm just going to keep continuing to walk with God and let Him show me the way to be a better person, to learn to calm my anger.
Mhm.
But I'm not gonna hold up more of your time. But what I do want to say to you is, what is something that you can say to the audience, people who are struggling, especially the holiday season? For me, and I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to get you there, baby. But I know we know each other, and I love how you share so much in that safe space in the mornings. And so I'm always like the holiday time for me is very and I try to build new memories with my kids and my husband because my dad's been gone. My daughter she's 16, so my daddy's been gone for 16 years.
Mhm.
But losing my grandparents in 2020, it sent me in a really bad depression state. I've always dealt with depression since dad's been gone, but I'm
Mhm.
always like I don't want to say harping on that because I'm always that void will always be there. I can't
It
replace it.
is.
I don't want to replace it.
It
You
is.
only get one amazing mom and one amazing dad.
That's true. That's true.
And so, what is it something that you could say to people that are struggling this holiday season, just to give them some type of encouragement to keep going into the new year?
Well, I would definitely say always put God first. Continue to pray for any situation or any trial, struggle that you're in, and just know and understand that it's not going to last forever. It's not that emotion, that feeling is not going to last forever. And as far as you and me, when it comes to losing a parent, you know how Miss Olivia say on the call, sometimes you grieve unhealthy. It's very
Mm-hmm.
true because
Mm-hmm.
my mom has been gone since 2017. And At least once a month, I find myself trapped in the 5 stages of grieving. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I'm crying tears of joy because I know she's not suffering anymore. Sometimes I'm crying tears of anger and rage, like, oh my God, I wanted more time with you. 32 years just wasn't enough time with you.
Right.
Sometimes I'm crying tears of laughter because I'm like, I can't believe, mommy, you left me down here with all these people. Like, with your grandkids. And
You
sometimes
sound like me.
it's tears of laughter. Like, I can't believe Belina left me. And sometimes I'm just sitting still and I'm just crying just to cry. And I can hear my mama voice saying, girl, you better stop all that crying. It's And as far as I making memories, because I get in a funk a lot about the holidays. Because my mom, anybody in my family, they'll tell you on the call, she loved the holidays. She made every holiday memorable and special for my brother and myself and all of my cousins. And when my kids came along, it was like reliving Christmas all over again from when we were kids because she made every holiday so special and memorable. And when I get in those funks and I'm like, oh, I do not want to do this, I have to remember I'm disappointing my mom by not continuing that legacy that she
Yeah.
passed down to me and my brother, and I instill it in my kids. And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It is very, very hard. When I tell you, I still think about my mom all the time. I think about her all the time. I don't cry every day like I used to
Right.
because, like I said, Miss Olivia say, sometimes your tears are toxic to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in that dark space, it's hard to pull yourself out of it. It
Yeah.
really is. And I just have to keep telling myself, mommy would not want me down and depressed. She would want me continuing life, being happy, raising her grandkids to be the best people that they can be. And my mom, even when my mom was at her worst, she never wanted anyone to feel sorry for her. If you was crying for her, she would tell you, don't feel bad for me. Somebody else situation is worse off than me. But I have to constantly tell myself, especially around the holiday times, because my mom died in towards the end of October. So I had to deal with Thanksgiving without
Yeah.
her, Christmas,
The new
New
year.
Year's, my kids' birthdays. It was very hard, and it's still hard, but you just have to keep pushing through. And I know
Right.
some days are gonna be harder than others, but just keep pushing through. And I always say the family that you create is a
Mm-hmm.
lot more important from the family that you came from. So keep creating those memories with your kids and the little ones that don't know your dad.
Right.
Make them know him because I never met my grandma. My mom's mom, I never met
Mm-hmm.
her. She died when my mom was either 16 or 15 years old. I never met her, but I
Mm-hmm.
knew this lady like she was there with me every single day because my mom made sure I had memories of her mom, even though I never met her. And I do the same like with my kids and my grandma. My dad's mom, she died
Mm-hmm.
when I think Anaya was 8 months when my grandma died, and Amari was almost 4. But
Oh
you can't
wow.
my kids, you can't Amari remembers my grandma, but Anaya,
Right.
she's a baby. But I
Right.
tell her stuff like my grandma used to sit in a rocking chair with her and rock her. It's like they know her. And I
Right.
keep everybody memory. I talk about my great aunts and uncles who have passed away that they didn't meet. I talk about them so that they can understand those memories and the legacy that they left behind. When I tell you every morning when I say I'm grateful for the legacy and memory my mom created and my everybody else in my family, it's because I am. And
Yeah.
that keeps me going every single day just to know that I know I'm gonna see her again. I know I am. I just got to get past this. And I may cry the rest of my life. When I sit and really think about it, I don't know if you do this, but I know when I get inside my head, I get all the way in my head.
Girl.
Sitting thinking, I'm like, you're only 38. You mean to tell me I got to live the rest of these years without my
That's
mom?
what I say that all the time, Nate. I be like, I'm only 36. I should. This wasn't right. I get in that mode. You know, I'm like, what I'm gonna do without my daddy and my grandmas? Now y'all done left me here with all these crazy people. They can't get it together. They all sad. I mean, we sad too, but you got to still keep going. Like,
Yep.
especially with my mom's family, I'm always like, okay, y'all too old to still be acting like y'all still our age. Like, get it together. Like, girl, you just had me over here crying. And I just want to say that everything you said tonight, I needed to hear this. So this is why I was excited to have you on the line, because I knew you was gonna spin it. I knew you was gonna just give the audience what they needed to hear and what we needed to hear. Because it's important to just keep going. Like, we can't quit. We can't, especially them babies looking at us. And I know they proud of you, because me talking to you right now, Nate, I hear the God in you. I feel it every morning. I can tell, like, okay, when somebody done been through some stuff. They ain't just talking,
You'd be amazed how much strength you find in your kids. You really would. Sometimes when I listen to my kids talk, I think that's my mama talking through them. I'm like, my mama sitting right next to me talking to me. You find strength in your kids. You really and truly do. And I know you miss your daddy a lot. I know you do, because you talk about him all the time. The same way I miss my mom, but you're gonna see him again.
Oh yeah, we know that, because we know who leads us, which is God. So, this was amazing. I needed to hear this tonight. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I do want you to let the audience know where they can find y'all guys. Like I said, Tarrhea has her own business. She's based out in Florida. When I come down there, I have told Amisha, I said, now look, I love all of y'all, but I'm looking for you and Nate. I'm gonna be looking for you and Nate. And
we're gonna have a girl
said, yeah. Tell us where we can find y'all at. Find you at on social media.
My social media handles are T3 Wellness, and my Facebook page is Tarrhea's Tranquil Touch.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna make sure I put your links in there. I'm following you on both platforms, so I just want to say again, thank you. We're gonna, before I let you go, I like to just think of, you ended it so well. I don't even want to bring up no random questions. So I think I'm gonna just let it go. I for real, because what you said is what the audience needed to hear. So thank you so much. So I'm gonna sign out and stop crying. This is episode number 72, Truth Be Told podcast with Claiming Your Anger with Tarrhea. You guys have a good evening. Bye, boo boo.
I love you, girl.
Love you too, baby.